You weren't meant to wake up, and that is not an opinion. It is a sentence that has already been carried out on people just like you, while they were breathing, while they were working, while they were trusting the wrong signals. The danger is active right now, and if you keep listening like nothing is wrong, you will lose something you cannot recover. Status, time, leverage, and the illusion that you were ever safe. They did not need chains. They did not need force. They needed you asleep, and you cooperated without realizing it. Because sleep does not look like sleep anymore. It looks like routine. It looks like loyalty. It looks like being reasonable. The moment you started explaining yourself, you were already behind the door you never saw closing. People around you did not suddenly turn cold. They simply stopped needing you, and you missed the signal because no one warns you when usefulness expires. They smile, they nod, they delay, and they let you keep talking while the decision has already been made. This is how it works now, and it worked centuries ago. Machiavelli understood that power never announces its moves. It waits for blindness, and blindness feels comfortable until it is irreversible. You think you are choosing, but you are reacting. You think you are informed, but you are late. The world does not punish ignorance. It replaces it quietly and moves on. The most dangerous moment is not betrayal. It is when nothing happens, when messages slow down, when invitations fade, when your presence becomes optional. That is the moment you were meant to wake up and did not. There is a reason some people never explain themselves. They are not mysterious. They are ahead. They do not seek approval, because approval is a signal of weakness in systems that reward certainty. Machiavelli would never wait to be chosen, because waiting is submission dressed as patience. If you are still trying to be understood, you have already been categorized. And once categorized, you are managed, not respected. You are given enough attention to keep you functional, and not enough to let you see the pattern. The cage is invisible by design, and the bars are made of habits. You defend yourself because deep down you feel it. Something is off. Something is closing in, but you keep going, because stopping would mean admitting you were asleep too long. This is not motivation, this is exposure. The pressure you feel is not anxiety, it is awareness. Arriving late, the danger is simple and direct. Stay unconscious and you will be used until there is nothing left to extract. Then you will be remembered as a phase, a convenience, a temporary solution. And you will never be told why, because explanations are for equals, and this world has never been equal. The silence you feel is not empty. It is full of decisions made without you. And once you notice them, it is already harder to move. That is why this moment matters, because the next one may not give you a window, and if you miss it, you will call it bad luck instead of what it is: design. By the time you feel confused, it is already working. Confusion is not a side effect. It is the mechanism. People who benefit from you do not confront you. They soften, they blur timelines, they make everything feel non-urgent, so you do not resist. This is why waking up feels aggressive. It breaks the spell of comfort. You were never meant to have clarity, because clarity creates friction, and friction exposes intent. The system prefers you, agreeable, predictable, slightly hopeful, and permanently unfinished. The moment you start asking why, access changes, tone shifts, and distance appears without explanation. The distance is not accidental, it is containment. Machiavelli understood that control is most stable when it feels natural. When you blame yourself for what was engineered around you, you think you lost something because you were not good enough. But the truth is colder. You lost it because you were no longer needed. And usefulness has an expiration date. No one tells you when it approaches. They let you discover it by absence, by silence, by the sudden lack of resistance. When you leave the room, the most dangerous people are not loud. They do not argue. They observe and wait for you to expose how much you need to be accepted. The more you explain, the more data you give away. And power feeds on patterns, not emotions. You were never meant to wake up. Because awake people ask different questions. They stop performing, they stop offering themselves without leverage. They notice who benefits when they doubt themselves and who disappears when boundaries appear. This is why the pressure increases. Once you start seeing clearly, the environment tightens, because awareness threatens stability. The fear you feel is not irrational. It is the nervous system detecting a loss of safety that was never real to begin with. Machiavelli would never confuse kindness with weakness, because he knew how quickly warmth turns into access and access into extraction. The world he described still works the same, only the tools changed. Now it is schedules, expectations, social contracts, and unspoken rules that keep you in place. If you stay asleep, you remain useful. If you wake up, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is the enemy of control. That is why you are discouraged from noticing patterns and encouraged to focus on feelings. Feelings keep you busy, patterns set you free. You were not meant to wake up, because waking up forces a choice. And choice creates responsibility for what you tolerate next. The silence around you is a test. The delays are a test. The vague responses are a test. They are measuring how much disrespect you will rationalize, how much time you will donate, and how long you will wait without demanding clarity. Every second you hesitate, the structure strengthens, and once it is solid, you will call it fate instead of what it really was. A series of moments where you could have seen and chose not to. Waking up does not feel like freedom. It feels like isolation, because the moment you see clearly, you stop fitting into the rhythm that keeps everything smooth. You notice who grows uncomfortable when you pause, who rushes you when you hesitate, and who benefits when you stay tired. This discomfort is the price of perception. The world does not reward awareness. It tolerates it only when it stays quiet. The instant your awareness changes behavior, the response arrives subtle, first, then cold, then distant. This is how pressure works. It does not attack, it withdraws support and waits for you to panic back into compliance. Machiavelli understood that power rarely announces itself. It positions itself and lets others exhaust themselves trying to be chosen. This is why waking up feels like loss. You lose access, approval, and the illusion of safety all at once, and your mind tries to negotiate its way back into the familiar cage. The cage is comfortable because it was designed to be. The rules were never written, so you would never know when you broke them. And the punishment is never stated, so you learn to police yourself before anyone else has to. The danger is not that people deceive you. The danger is that the structure rewards deception and punishes clarity. Every time you speak plainly, the room tightens. Every time you ask for precision, the mood shifts. Every time you stop explaining yourself, someone accuses you of changing. This accusation is a signal. It means you are no longer behaving in a way that makes extraction easy. The system relies on your need to be understood, because it buys time while it rearranges leverage. You were never meant to wake up, because awake people see transactions where others see relationships. They notice how affection increases before demands, how silence follows resistance, and how praise appears right before exploitation. Awareness disrupts timing, and timing is everything. Once you see the sequence, you cannot unsee it. And once you cannot unsee it, you cannot perform convincingly anymore. This is why the pressure escalates when you stop reacting emotionally. Calm observation threatens more than anger ever could. Anger burns out, observation endures, and endurance shifts. Balance the quiet confidence you feel. Growing is not arrogance, it is the absence of fear being used against you, and that absence is intolerable to those who rely on it. Control does not need you to fail, it needs you unsure, so it can decide for you. The moment you decide for yourself, the machinery stalls, and the people who benefited call it betrayal, or distance, or misunderstanding. But it was none of those. It was awareness, crossing a line that was never supposed to be visible. You are not meant to wake up, because waking up ends the cycle where your confusion fuels someone else's certainty. The moment you stop needing reassurance, the environment reacts not loudly but precisely. Opportunities pause, conversations shorten, and faces adjust as if recalibrating. This is not coincidence, it is correction. Systems sense deviation before individuals do, and they respond by tightening invisible limits. You start to feel watched, not by eyes but by expectations. The rules were always there, you just never saw them because you were following them automatically. Waking up means noticing how often approval is exchanged for silence, how comfort is traded for obedience, and how confusion is encouraged because it keeps you dependent. Clarity removes leverage, and leverage is the only language power respects. Machiavelli would never wait to be chosen, because waiting teaches others that you accept delay as a condition of worth. Once you see this, you recognize the subtle punishments designed to push you back into place: missed messages, delayed responses, shifting standards. None of it is random. It is calibration meant to test whether you will fold or stand. The danger is not in confrontation, it is in erosion. They do not try to defeat you, they try to exhaust you until you doubt your own perception. This is why waking up feels heavy. You are carrying awareness in a world optimized for sleep, and sleep is profitable. People who sleep buy stories, accept excuses, and confuse familiarity with loyalty. Awake people question patterns, and patterns reveal intent when intent is revealed. Trust collapses, and with it the comfortable illusion that everyone is aligned. The world Machiavelli described still works the same because human incentives have not changed, only the stage has become quieter. Pressure now wears politeness, and manipulation hides behind concern. But the mechanics are identical. Keep them busy, keep them tired, keep them uncertain, so they never consolidate power. The moment you refuse to over-explain your decisions or apologize for your boundaries, the atmosphere shifts, not because you are wrong, but because you are unpredictable. Unpredictability disrupts control. This is when the labels appear: cold, distant, arrogant, difficult. They are not insults, they are warnings meant to bring you back in line. If they fail, escalation follows: isolation, misrepresentation, and subtle attempts to rewrite history. So you appear unreasonable for noticing what was always there. This is the cost of waking up. You lose access to the comforting lie that effort guarantees fairness and intention ensures protection. Instead, you gain something heavier: the ability to see when warmth is strategic and when silence is punitive. Once you recognize that dynamic, you cannot unsee it, and you realize the truth. They never needed you asleep forever. They only needed you asleep long enough to secure their position. Waking up simply ends the grace period, and from that moment forward, every move you make is measured not for morality, but for impact. By now you should understand something uncomfortable. The danger was never the obvious threat. It was the quiet agreement you were pushed into without realizing it. Every time you stayed calm when disrespected, every time you accepted delay as normal, every time you explained yourself to people who already decided your value. That accumulation built a version of you that was manageable, predictable, safe to extract from, and easy to ignore. Systems reward that version. Because it does not resist, it adapts, and adaptation without power is submission dressed as maturity. The moment you stop participating, the cost appears immediately, not as violence but as friction. Things that used to flow now resist. People who benefited from your flexibility suddenly question your attitude. This is the checkpoint most people fail, because discomfort feels like danger, and danger triggers retreat. But this discomfort is not punishment, it is exposure. It reveals who was aligned with you and who was aligned with your usefulness. Machiavelli understood that control does not require constant force, it requires timing. pressure applied only when escape feels riskier than compliance. This is why fear works better than affection when leverage is limited. It creates memory patterns. Obedience becomes instinctive, even when the threat is no longer present. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, because fear outlasts mood and loyalty dissolves under stress. Love depends on conditions, fear depends on consequences, and consequences shape behavior. This is not philosophy, it is observation. And once you see it operating around you, the world becomes colder but clearer. The smiles feel thinner. The encouragement sounds conditional, and the praise arrives only when it keeps you productive. That is not paranoia. It is pattern recognition. The real risk now is regression. The temptation to soften yourself, to regain ease, to perform humility, to be allowed back into comfort. But comfort is the cage, because it trades short-term peace for long-term control. Every time you choose ease over clarity, you teach the environment how little resistance it takes to own you. Waking up is not loud. It is silent discipline. It is saying less and observing more. It is letting others reveal how they behave when they no longer feel entitled to your energy. Some will disappear, others will escalate, and a few will adjust. Those are the only ones worth keeping proximity with, because they respond to boundaries instead of trying to erase them. This phase feels isolating because dependency networks collapse when you stop feeding them. But isolation is temporary, submission is permanent. The system wants you tired, confused, and self-doubting because clarity accelerates independence, and independence is expensive to manage. If you are waiting for reassurance that this path ends in approval, it will not. It ends in autonomy, and autonomy does not clap for itself. It simply removes you from games you were never meant to win by playing fair. If you stayed this long, it means something already shifted. And that shift is irreversible, because once awareness locks in, the old ignorance never feels safe again. This is the final tension point where most people unconsciously sabotage themselves, not because they disagree, but because they realize what waking up actually costs. It costs comfort, narratives, it costs social anesthesia, it costs the illusion that someone else is responsible for protecting your position from here forward. There is no dramatic enemy, only incentives and silence. People will not attack you openly. They will test you with omission, with delayed responses, with passive resistance and selective attention, and how you respond teaches them everything. Machiavelli warned that men forget kindness faster than injury because kindness creates expectation, while injury creates caution, and caution survives longer in unstable environments. This is why boundaries feel cruel to those who benefited from your absence of them, and why your refusal to perform access feels like betrayal to people who never offered protection when it mattered. The danger now is not losing them. It is misreading their reactions as proof you went too far, because guilt is the final leash it activates when you begin acting outside the role assigned to you. The moment you feel guilty for prioritizing clarity over approval, you are being pulled back into the structure you escaped, and structures do not beg. They wait patiently until fatigue sets in, and fatigue always comes, unless discipline replaces emotion. This is not about becoming cold, it is about becoming precise. Coldness reacts, precision chooses, silence chooses distance, chooses timing. And timing is power. The world does not reward truth. It rewards leverage, and leverage is built quietly by those who stopped explaining themselves. If this message unsettled you, that was intentional. Discomfort sharpens attention, and attention is the gateway to control. You were never meant to wake up inside the system, you were meant to function inside it. Unnoticed, productive, and replaceable. Waking up makes you inefficient to manipulate and expensive to ignore. From here, the only real action is subtraction. Less noise, less reaction, less permission given to people who never earned it. Watch how the environment recalibrates when you stop offering free access. That recalibration is the signal that this worked. If you want to continue seeing clearly, stay close to this state. Not emotionally, but strategically return to it. When comfort tries to pull you back, not by liking or sharing, but by staying present and choosing awareness again. The next time the system assumes you will go back to sleep,